a spell a long season for the Kings?
Definitely not the score that we proud of. I think our first half performance showed that we could have done better. It's been a long season, to answer your questions, in terms of the injuries and the depth of us that's been tested now. And you can see that with the inclusion of some youngsters into the side, to see how they perform. And then 1 or 2 players from the Currie Cup. It's been challenging, but I think as a group and as a team we've stuck together. We knew towards the end of the competition it's going to become much more difficult. But we're here now, we've got 2 minutes left, and the spirit of these guys and the way they teach up every week, we will see what's on.
Deon, you guys have obviously overcome a number of obstacles this season. I don't think we know how many you guys have probably overcome, but it seems it's going to be another slog going ahead. Hearing that 10-11 players are already leaving, that you guys can't contract here, things like that. Just from your point of view, having a look at going ahead for the Kings, how difficult is that road going to be?
Yeah, no, at this point in time it's very concerning. I think your preparation going into this campaign, you need continuity. You need a core base of players going forward. And if you can't carry that continuity into Currie Cup, if you can't carry that continuity into your awful pre-season, then it actually becomes difficult. I mean, this year it's been very challenging. Starting this competition within our first game against the Sharks, we did not even have a full squad. And I mean, even if we start next year with a good off season, if you don't have certain continuity in terms of your core players and keeping and building momentum, it will be a struggle.
Is there light at the end of the tunnel from where you're sitting?
At this point in time, I'm completely just focused on getting this campaign done, and then after that, I think we will look at the future.
Coach, how important is next week then, as it's the penultimate game before you guys take a break and look forward to the next season?
You know, next week game for us, I think we're at this point in time that I just expect the guys to go out there and play proper rugby. I want them to go out there and play with the same spirit and passion that they've been doing all this year, or the whole competition. And I want them to enjoy themselves. And I think they owe it to each other for all the challenges that we've experienced. We've stuck together through some very difficult time. And but as a group, in terms of the way we carried each other in our preparations, we carried each other in every game looking for improvements. I think they owe it to each other and playing the brand of rugby that presents that. That presents the spirit of the Kings players over there.
Edgar, for you, captain, at your former home ground for the Lions, how was that experience, and also the boys got enough in the tank to finish off in New Year's?
I think it's first and foremost it's an honour and a privilege to captain the Eastern Cape's premier rugby team, and especially in the Super Rugby, and I think against the Lions, the #1 team in the country. I enjoyed it. I think it was really tough, and you can really see why they're the champions. They really applied pressure in most areas of the field, and they deservedly are first place on the log.
For next week, you guys gonna come together on Monday, or are you gonna take it easy because it's the last one for you guys? And I mean, some of the guys, as my colleague has said, will be shifting to other provinces or for greener pastures.
I think playing for the Kings, really, you don't really have a choice but to come out and fight every single week. We've got no right whatsoever to lay down whatsoever and think about the previous week or think about 2 weeks' time. This whole year, one of the biggest things that we've done, and one of the things that's really brought us through, is just taking each week for each week. Given this games, we've taken 50, and the next week we come and we've done well. I mean, we take, for example, the Sharks game. I think we got 50 against the Sharks. Next week we play the Jaguars. We beat the Jaguars at home. So it goes to show that we don't. The moment we come to the following week, last week's is erased.
Deon, is something like the defense tonight also actually, like you talked about continuity as a frustrating thing, because it's obviously that you guys at a interesting and clear plan, to have a quick line speed, and try to attack the Lions attackers, obviously. And I mean, it's just sometimes one guy that misses it, or it's just that skills thing, which you obviously only cultivate, over a couple of seasons. Is that also something that's frustrating for you in general when you see something like that? Sometimes it works really well, and then sometimes it's a crucial mistake.
I think the game is really simple in the sense that everything is about dominance of the advantage, right? Whether you attack or whether you defend. So if you look, for instance, let's talk about the defense on your question. If we talk about the defense, I think our system is in place, and the strategy that we wanted to apply tonight worked for us in the first half because we took away the space and time of the dangerous attackers. But together with that, it's always also your ability to man up in terms of defense, not to give meters away, because as soon as you get dominated in tackles, you give momentum to the opposition. And if you allow that against the Lions, quality team like that, they will punish you. And if we focus on our attack also, I mean, I think clearly in the first half, the space that we've identified in terms of where we wanted to go to the Lions, we capitalized, we got momentum, we found that space and we created opportunities. Unfortunately, our execution wasn't all the time at its best. And then also, it's simple, I think tonight we were dominated by a very good pack of forwards in the scrums, and our lineouts didn't work as well as it could. And if you don't get quality ball and you keep on defending like that, at the end of the day, it's going to take its toll towards the end of the game. And I think this is exactly what happened. What happened to and obviously, but hats off. Listen, and then obviously we can also talk about our discipline. I mean, you can't play with 13 players on the field, and I mean we had a quite frank talk about that. I mean, one of our values that we stood for is accountability and also work ethic. And I mean, if you get penalized consistently for something that you're not getting into position, it must be work ethic, it must be accountability. So yeah, obviously we've also got things to look at, but there's also a lot of positives. I mean, a lot of positives in the sense that you've got youngsters that you gave the opportunity tonight that I don't think would have believed that they could play it at this level. I'm thinking a guy like Sintu Manyezi that came from the Curry Cup range that played well tonight. Jeremy Ward got to get an opportunity. James Wall is still a youngster, testing himself out at this level. And then also you have players that that were genuinely Curry Cup players or Vodacom Cup players last year, and they had this opportunity and they stepped up to make a gain a position for himself in the SAA side. Players like Lucanio Arm, Andu Kebe, all these guys. So there's a lot of positive stories also out of this. So and I've said to the players, for me, sometimes if you talk about win or lose, it's more than just what the scoreboard say. It's win or lose also in terms of how people were empowered, what better individuals you created, the experience that they gained, and what better rugby players or people they can become. And that is for me in this year maybe the crunch of the story and the things that you can build on. But well done to the Lions. Listen, quality side, quality players, well coached. And as a South African fan, we just want to wish them luck in the playoffs, and we hope they make us proud.
Is that sort of like the light at the end of the tunnel that Brendan sort of talked about? Perhaps that even though some guys are moving on, you have a couple of guys that you empowered that you mentioned and perhaps might stay next year, and that's the type of guys that you can actually build on and actually improve skills and execution on.
Listen, I can say categorically, and I'm very proud of my players, is that not one of the players that go away because they are disappointed with the environment. I mean, Edgar can talk more about that. It's just because all of them were contracted for Super Rugby. None of them have got contracts for Curry Cup. One or two of them got extended contracts for next year's Super Rugby. But they've got families and stuff they've got to look at. And as long as we don't have the ability to offer them anything, I mean, we can't keep a player in the franchise. And for me, it's quite good to see that the experience and the feedback that you get from the players in terms of recognizing the fact that they want to stay but they've got no other opportunity. That is encouraging in terms of the culture that we've created and which we try to create in building good men